Friends, let's quickly talk about Judge Sykes' new decision. I honestly love her, which ruled that you can be released on bond even if you entered the country without a visa. So this applies to those who crossed the border between Mexico and the US with a 94 form, as well as those who crossed with a 220 form. So on the 19th, yesterday, she said, guys, this violates the Constitution. Let's take a closer look at this. I believe you should be releasing people who, pay attention, at some point cross the border. Yeah, so for example, someone was just living their life, minding their own business, and then got picked up during an ICE raid, pulled off a truck, detained during check-in at the ICE office, and so on and so forth. She said, no, they have the right, they should have the right to a hearing, to be released on bail. Who doesn't fall under this? Now, here's a pretty big fly in the ointment for this barrel of honey. Those who are in the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit is Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Why is this happening? Because on February 6th, they had their own precedent there, and this absolutely ridiculous precedent goes against all the other precedents. There, both the Second and Ninth Circuits are on our side, and in general, it lays the groundwork for a lawsuit to be filed with the Supreme Court. Because this precedent from February 6th basically means that under its terms, no one can get out of detention at all. Can you imagine? You could have lived 10 or 15 years in any state in the US, but if you end up in the Fifth Circuit, that's it. As they say, that's all she wrote. They have to keep you there in mandatory detention until the very end, and the detention periods are insane. But if you're worried right now that you might get detained, for example, if you're a trucker or a long-haul driver and you're afraid you might get picked up, you can make arrangements with our company, or really with any company that handles this, for the following things. If you get detained, there could be a filing of a so-called TRO plus a habeas to freeze your transfer to another state. What does that do for you? Let's say you're in California. You get detained in California and they send you to some detention center in California. So you immediately file this request so that you aren't transferred. And after that, you apply for release on bond because in California, all of this works. It's the same in New York and really in Illinois too. Basically, friends, everywhere except Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi work with attorneys who can file this here and now. And one more extremely important point. Oh, and if you haven't been transferred anywhere, you can get out on bond, but the bond amount is always set by the judge. It depends on your income level and the income level of the sponsor who is vouching for you. There's more detailed information about this on our Telegram channel. Write to us. Call us. For us, getting out on bond costs $3,000. There's a possibility for a discount and so on, but that depends on what kind of services you need. But overall, we handle all of this. Keep in mind that the Trump administration could file an appeal on this judge's decision at any moment, so there's a small window when you're in New York, California, and so on, where you can get out on bond even though you cross the border between Mexico and the US. Good luck to everyone. Bye!